Hey everyone, it's the RCGroups podcast. I'm Jim T. Graham, and I'm joined by.
What's going on, everybody? Jason Cole.
Oh, this is
We're,
tough.
are we pointing to weird
I'm
things?
trying to point to you. Jason Cole, right there.
What?
That's like at least two angles of getting it backwards.
It's like we're the Brady Bunch here on the screen. It's like you look over at Marcia.
Right. So we've been gone for a while. We actually have some stuff to talk about, some fun stuff, and some interesting stuff. And I have a little Q&A. If we have time, I'm gonna ask Jason all the DJI drone questions that I have that I've been researching on my own. This will not take place in this podcast, but we picked up a new sponsor who called me, which is so rare these days, Jason, where somebody actually calls me. And it's the Soaring Lab based out of California, and so they came on board. We did an article about him, and he seems to have very little information on how RC Groups works. So I said, "Man, you should be on the podcast or the Hangout." And so that's going to happen probably maybe next week. We'll see if I can put that together with him or not. We'll see how tech savvy he is. But this week we're talking to Jason, who went to Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. This was before Christmas, dude. It's been a while.
Well, it has, and
The holidays.
so you can't do a podcast if it's Christmas, and then there's the weather and all the other things that get in your way during this time of year. But we did get some. We had some good, fun discussion about Jason hauling things to Puerto Rico, and then there's also a review Jason did about the Holybro Kopis Cinewhoop HD FPV drone, and
That's right.
Jason says this is the biggest DJI news in years
Well,
with the
FPV
FPV.
industry news. It's not really. I mean, it's been out, but yeah, it's game changing.
So we'll discuss that. And then hopefully we'll have some time for me to go over all my DJI drone questions, from legality to size to in-air shooting and more and more.
Ooh.
So without further ado, I think we should start with the fun stuff first, and that should be Puerto Rico.
Sure, man.
So while you tell everyone where you went, what you brought, I'm going to go pull up the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you don't get us live, you can by subscribing to the video, and you'll be notified when we go live.
Yeah. So the kind of the short story is we went to Puerto Rico back in September, and I brought a couple of DLGs and a slope plane, and I was like, there's mountains, there's cliffs, there has to be a place to fly sailplanes and slope soar. And I went and we got a rental car and we drove around for hours and hours and hours and hours for a couple of days, and I never found a great place to fly. So I ended up flying just off the beach and just doing discus launch gliders. And that was awesome and fun, but it wasn't slope soaring that I was really trying to do. And we ended up having free tickets, and my wife looked at me and she says, we have to go back. And I'm like, okay, it's cheap, we can go do it. And thanks to the power of RC Groups, I found a guy that lived there and had also slope soared in Puerto Rico. And so I sent him a private message. I said, hey, man, would you mind telling me where to go to do some slope soaring in Puerto Rico? And he hooked me up, gave me some information about it. It is private property, so you would need to get permission. But it was kind of right off of a road on a mountain, and it was a fantastic view. It was absolutely gorgeous. It's about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe closer to 45 minutes from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And there's a picture right there Jim just pulled up. I mean, this is a fantastic view. They actually do hang gliding and paragliding off of this. So I'm standing on like this carpeted, area, and it's where they do launching of full manned ultralight craft out of.
Is it near Sheraton Hotel, or are you just standing on a carpet?
I don't know what the S represents. Maybe it came from a hotel.
It looks like
I
Sheraton logo.
I didn't meet anybody. Nobody was able to come out when I was there. So I'm out here, just me and my wife, just by myself. But it's a really, I don't know how high it is off the valley floor there, but it's a long way down, probably longer than it looks like in those pictures. And the wind was howling when I was here. So I didn't really have quite enough ballast, but I had enough to be able to just make it work and fly. I still had a blast, but I could have used more ballast or heavier airplanes.
Hey, by the way,
yeah.
Could you pull up the poem your wife wrote and then read it to everyone on the?
You want me to read it? How about we just tell people to go read it on RCGroups?
No, this ain't.
I don't want to read it.
This isn't a book. I could
I
read
didn't
it.
write it.
I could read it in a girl voice.
I'd like to hear you read it.
All right, this is the lovely Dchara. It's Dchara.
Chair and then
Dchara. Okay.
Chara.
You know, I know her name, and I've said it probably 100 times, and even yet, I still am never sure.
There you go. And you can see how windy it is, even on top of the slope, with her hair going crazy nuts.
Everyone can see that. Okay, I'm going to cut back to Jason's face.
There you go.
Oh, Jason, you look awesome.
Oh, this is, I see your face now.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go to that.
The poem.
The poem. So tell everyone about this poem. How did this come about?
I don't know how it came about. The chair was like, we were in bed, like getting up one morning, and then I was like, I'm going to have to get up and go write an article or something. And she was like, I should write your article for you one day. And I was like, what? You don't really know anything about it.
Like,
and then she was like, I know about being an RC pilot's wife. And then the next thing I know, she started reading this to me. And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Maybe not everybody will get some of the like jokes, inside jokes.
Is she at the house?
Like, is she what?
Is she there?
No, she's out right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write an article about the life of an RC pilot's wife, and we'll see what it had. Pretty good comments, you know, so it was fun.
There's nothing I'd rather be than an RC pilot's wife. If you don't believe me, let me tell you all about this life. First of all, just in case we ever get the podcast working again, I'm vocalizing.
There you go.
First of all, you may think it's an expensive decision to make, but little did you know that every event seems to have a free t-shirt to take. So as your husband styles that free neon shirt and people see you've got a catch, you just don't forget he will eventually need that cool wide brim hat to match.
That's a sailplane joke.
Not to mention those crazy sunglasses. But no, for real, all his skills will oddly come in hand. Like if you need anything glued, he will be your man. Who needs a stitch or a doctor when I get cut? A little CA and that bad boy will seal right up. And who knew that long car rides could be so entertaining as he points out every bird thermally and tells you where he could be sailplaning. That's good.
True story.
I could tell people my husband is a pilot and it wouldn't be a lie, but telling them he plays with RC planes brings jealousy in their eye. The first time I really knew I was an RC pilot's wife was when I saw our anniversaries from here on out would seemingly be spent at Joe Knoll.
True story.
Yeah. But hey, this community is actually amazing. And one, it seems you'll keep till the end. Like when your husband shares his monkey butt powder, you know you've made a true friend. Jason, who are you sharing your monkey butt powder with? Your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
what she means.
That's
hopefully.
Only one thing's for sure, an RC pilot's house will never be the same. Your shelves might display possums, pumpkins, and donkeys. I just have to disclaim. I might exclaim.
No playing trophies.
Yeah. The pumpkin chunk, the possum toss,
the Bruce,
and the Bruce. I was trying to figure out where Donkey played in the Bruce.
Yeah, that's
Donkey. He has 2 miniature donkeys. And that room that was going to be for your mom when she comes to visit soon is now filled with a building table, and Mom is on the couch in the living room. But watching him build all the way from balsa wood to ready to fly, I just love the fact that he's always going to be a kid at heart until the day he dies.
Oh,
we are blessed that when you do something that you love, you will never work a day in your life. And that is truly the greatest blessing of being an RC pilot's wife. Man, that's really good.
Isn't that funny?
That's good. Well, look at these pictures.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
Every vacation has an RC adventure.
You know, I've known this young lady a long time, and she looks to me exactly the same as she did when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
We'll see how long it lasts. Who knows?
Okay, so my DJI stuff is last on the list, so I think we're going to move straight into the Kopis.
The Holybro Kopis.
The Kopis Cabana.
Check it out, man. It's colorful.
Oh, yeah. So now you know the front from the back, also by the direction it's going.
Yeah. This is by... So anyway, these are PLA 3D printed parts, and it comes with them, and they're black when you get it. Get the kit. No, you hit the wrong button. And there's also these camera guards that kind of protect the camera lens. That's made out of TPU, which is a flexible material. There's some TPU kind of landing skids on the bottom as well. And they give you the STL files for all these parts. So if you break something, which the most commonly broken part on this is going to be the ducts, because they are what hits and takes most of the impact force. But you can just print your own if you have a 3D printer, or you can buy spares from Holybro's website, or have somebody else make them for you. So anyway, so I made some yellow ones and some pink ones, and they used to match. And then I let a buddy of mine fly it the other day, and he crashed it and broke the two front ones. And then so I was like, you know what, I don't want to print more right now, so I just threw some yellow ones on that I had printed. So I don't mind it. It's like not like you can even see the colors when you're flying. Everything's out the front. But anyway, if you're not familiar, this is what is considered to be a Cinewhoop. And it's not, you know, I kind of say in the review, it's not a hardcore freestyle drone. It's not a super competitive racing drone. It's not designed to go long range cruising. It's designed to capture cinematic style kind of footage. And most of the time you're going to be using a GoPro for that. So I ended up going out and procuring a GoPro Hero Max, or the GoPro Max 360, and a GoPro Hero 8, and just hard mounted them onto the drone frame. And I got some different videos, you know, showing what is possible and capable. And it just looks buttery smooth. You know, it's ultra gorgeous, really nice footage that you can get from this. And it's made to do like go places and go indoors and around obstacles and through trees, and just things you would never be able to do with like a DJI Mavic.
Let's do this. Let's look at your review photos here.
There you go.
And then we'll jump over to the video. So there's the box.
There's the box. Now, that's the thing I want to talk about this in a little bit, but it is designed around the DJI FPV system, which is, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Holybro
comes with this case, which I think is a little bit oversized. It's completely massive for the drone. Like you could have made that a lot smaller, 25% smaller at least.
You could cut slots in there for a charger and batteries. And
yeah, you could add more stuff, but you know, when you're shoving everything in a backpack, space
so we
is.
have a camera mount. Is that
in the middle? No, there is. So this is. The camera's already mounted on the drone, but there's an accessory pack that has the cabling and different things for the DJI Air unit. That would be if you bought just the DJI Air unit by itself with the camera, you would get these accessory cables and things.
That camera looks industrial.
And it comes with a 90-degree USB, micro USB connector, because it makes it easier to access the Kahoot HD F7 flight board, so you can hook it up, program it, and do all that stuff.
A lot of people have trouble accessing their Kahoot.
You got to get that Kahoot.
It's hard. So clear props. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, they're like a smoky gray.
Nice. There's your camera.
Yeah, lens protection on that. Just kidding. It's just for packaging. Remove it before flight. So that's one of the DJI antennas. And they nestle in right in between the ducts, which I thought was a pretty good idea. It keeps it away from all the carbon and protects them as well.
And your battery plug.
Battery plug off the back. It's really simple. I mean, it's a solid single piece of carbon fiber on the bottom plate. It's 3mm, 3K, really high quality. That was the thing they used just top of the line components and gear for this drone. It's, you know, super awesome quality carbon. It's using T-motor motors and props, and, you know, high quality F7 flight board and a ESC 4-in-1 stack thing.
All right, you ready?
There you go.
So this is the cool, weird goggles.
This is the DJI FPV goggles.
And these are HD.
And it is HD, and it's literally mind-blowingly good. It's the greatest thing that happened to FPV since it started.
What did the goggles
it's kind of, what was your question?
How much are these?
They're like $500 or $600 for the goggles.
And are they dual screen or single screen? I guess
I believe it's dual screens. There's IPD adjustments. There's adjustable strap, which I actually upgraded my strap. I can show you here in a little bit. But I can tell you it's nearly everything we've been asking for in FPV. It's digital. It works extremely well. It's high definition. You can see all the minute details. It's absolutely gorgeous.
What
And
happens during when you go out of range? How does the
well, it
cutout
takes a
fit in?
really long distance away to get out of range. It's like people are going like 4 miles with these things
Okay.
before they're getting breakup. And I mean, you'll get breakup depending on the environment. There's a lot of factors, right? Antennas, placements, interference, drone issues. But what happens, I've gone out fairly good ways and gone behind trees and through trees and stuff. And there's two different modes. Well, there's this mode called focus mode.
Do you want to
And
go
it
to the video now?
basically, huh?
You want to go into the video while you discuss this?
You can start playing video from the Kopis so you can see it.
All right.
But focus mode will actually it'll break up the left and the right side of the image, keeping the center more clear, because that's kind of where you're focusing all your attention anyway. So it kind of breaks up the sides. It's kind of weird looking when you first see it.
So the battery lives on top?
Battery lives on top, easy to get to. Strap
Hey
comes with
everyone, I'm Jason Cole with RCGroups.com. And today
You might
we're
want to fast forward maybe halfway to get to the flight video. I think I just talk about components and things.
Tell us about the transmitter.
So it's a DJI transmitter. It's really should be very familiar if you've flown like the Inspire transmitters. It's very basic. It's made basically just for drones. You could maybe fly an airplane with it if you had a flight control board hooked up and were able to program it properly, but there's no trims, there's no computerized functions to it like you would see in a normal radio.
What is this switch? Is this like flipping over to the SD for recording or something?
No, it's just they name there's SD, SC, SB, SA.
Oh, okay.
It's just the name of the switch. But there's various switches, so you can activate different flight modes or arm the motors or activate the beeper or do various functions, through a beta flight, UI.
Just looking.
But I cannot wait to get you in these goggles and let you see what it's like. The experience it's the best FPV you've ever flown. It's 100% worth it. It's a little expensive right now, but not when you consider like an upper tier end, like the HDO2s from Fat Shark. They're like, $500 or $600 or $700.
Yeah, and those are what I one day would like to own.
No, you don't. Like once you try this, you never want to fly analog ever again. It's completely garbage compared to this.
I'm saying the $500 DJI goggles that go with the Mavic or the
yeah. Now it's that's just for the goggles. They don't work with anything else. You can get analog modules and modifications to make it work with your analog systems. So you get a better set of goggles, to view your images with if you're flying SD. But yeah, these stuff, you can use your own radio as well if you want, and you can do it. You can buy just the air units separately and put them on anything. It doesn't have to go on a drone. So I've got that Twisted Hobbies proxy that we talked about probably the last time we were on the podcast.
That airplane, right?
That airplane. I now have it set up with the DJI FPV.
Nice.
And I think what you might be looking at right here is the onboard recorded DVR footage from the DJI Air unit on this video.
So you're saying this is cinematic and it has a GoPro?
No. This looks like probably the Acro video.
Well, right, this is, but I mean the unit itself is made for taking a GoPro.
The drone itself. It's kind of one of the things I talk about in the review. Is it's a very capable drone. It's a 3-inch Cinewhoop, and it can do acro. You can go race with it. You can just go, fairly long range cruising with it, but that's not what it's really designed for. The heart of it is to do the cinematic style of it's more smooth and flowing, and it's kind of some of those videos you'll see where guys are flying down waterfalls and over the peaks of mountaintops, and this just cool epic looking footage. That's what this drone is made to kind of do, and to be able to go into small spaces that you couldn't get a normal filming drone into, like even the Mavic. This will go places where you couldn't get a Mavic into.
So it feels very stable. There's no onboard stabilization, right?
Well, it's a complete flight board. So you do there's a barometric pressure sensor in it. So you can add GPS. You can turn this into a, autonomous style, like position hold kind of drone, like a DJI or something. But It's as stable as you want to make it. It's beta flight, so this is like your typical hobbyist kind of
Okay.
UI system and flight board controls that we're using for racing and freestyle, all the stuff. So it comes pre-tuned and you don't have to touch it. And I didn't touch the tune. I haven't adjusted the PIDs at all. I felt it was nailed it. It was perfect. But you can adjust how sensitive it is, how smooth it flies. There's a lot of things you can adjust the parameters on how you like it to fly and feel for you.
Let's say somebody out there wanted exactly what you have here. What would it cost them?
Yeah, I think it's with the whole setup. If you needed the goggles and the radio and all that stuff, I think you're over $1,000. I think you're probably getting $1,100-$1,200 at that point.
That's not bad. And it kind of leads me into my next topic, but we're not done with this one
Yeah.
yet.
And then here you can this will give you a better idea. You can see, so I 3D printed this camera mount, but that's the DJI camera on the proxy here. And then this is the air unit. And you got the two DJI antennas. This is small enough to fit on some drones. This is a fairly small drone. It's a 3-inch, whoop, Cinewhoop, but it's still, this air unit is still fairly big compared to the 20 by 20, flight board stacks and things that we're having on some of these smaller drones, and especially like tiny whoop size. So what's happening now is Caddx is getting ready to come out with a DJI licensed VTX, which is much smaller than this. It loses some functionality, like you don't get the DVR built in. You lose some of that functionality, but it is a much smaller, much lighter stack with still full range up to 1,200 milliwatt power settings available. So it is shrinking already, and it hasn't even been out that long, and which is awesome because we're going to start having tiny whoop size drones coming out with this system. And I mean, it's really hard to tell you. You have to experience it. So I literally cannot wait to show you this and let you fly it and get your thoughts on it, because it's mind-blowingly good, and it makes you never want to touch an analog drone again.
So let's say that you got that system and you put it on a tiny whoop sized drone. So now you're not registering your unit because it's below the weight limit, and yet you're getting some great footage. The only limitation there, I guess, is wind.
Yeah. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. So if there's a couple of things, while the recorded onboard DVR footage from this camera is, really like a million times better than your DVRs from analog, videos, right? It's HD. It looks awesome. It's still not as good as like a GoPro. So you're not going to use this as a Cinewhoop. You want to mount a GoPro on it, and GoPros have that hyper smooth, image stabilization with that 360 camera. It had auto horizon level, so no matter what I did, the horizon remained perfectly level, and captured 360 and do all this crazy cool stuff. But just the image quality, if you're trying to use it for some kind of production value, for a drone shoot or something for TV or commercial or whatever, you're not going to do that off the onboard DVR footage, and you lose that. To get even smaller than this, you're going to lose that ability to capture on board anyway. It's not going to be able to carry GoPro. I don't know that you can get much smaller than this and still carry GoPro very well.
I was just
even this is already over the 250 grams, with the battery. So
I was thinking more of a consumer hangout, FPV, have fun type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally. I think we're definitely going to see that, the whoop size, and you can you can record on the goggles too. So the goggles have a built-in DVR. Yeah. Now it is the actual image transmission. So if you do experience breakup or a little bit of degradation, that's going to still show up in your DVR footage off the goggle recording. Right. But none of that happens on the onboard with the bigger area.
Right, because it's straight in and clean.
Yeah, but it's flipping fantastic, man. It's so cool.
Very interesting. Well, that kind of leads me to, I have some questions for you. I'm not seriously in the market for a DJI product, but I have been doing research, whatever that means. And I kept thinking I have questions for Jason. So first, I'm going to go over the options here for people like us that are watching this podcast. We have the Mini, which is the most affordable at $439. What a deal. You could go in, theoretically, almost anybody who was in the hobby, and go buy that right now. Then you have the Air, which is the next step up. That's double the price of the Mini at $994. Then you have the Mavic 2, which is double the price of the Air at $2,199. I didn't price out an Inspire. Jason, what's an Inspire cost? Without
3K like for just a drone, and then there's various packages with camera systems.
Okay, so an Inspire 2, and so I'm going to talk about this real quick. I called Cliff Whitney. Actually, Cliff called me about something else, and we were chatting, and I said, so Inspire 1 versus Inspire 2. Taught me out of why I don't spend less money and get an Inspire 1, because I'm not the latest, greatest guy. And he said, the number one reason is the batteries for Inspire 1s are no longer made, and he said, we will be out of stock soon.
Yeah.
Meaning one day you won't be able to power the thing. I'm sure there's
and the camera system's better on the 2,
right?
With better, more options available.
Now, an Inspire is half the price. Inspire 1's at least half the price of an Inspire 2. But if you're going to buy now, you might as well buy the current tech so you don't get so far behind. Now,
I don't think you can get an Inspire 1 like retail. I think it's been discontinued.
But I thought an Inspire 2 was like with a full house, batteries, camera, and all that stuff. You're looking like at $8,000. Am I wrong?
Yeah. The cameras are just expensive or more, depending on what you get, than the drone, the actual like drone itself, the body. You can buy just the body if you needed to. But yeah, you can get packages, I think, starting at like $3,500.
So the first question is, let me get past all this here. I thought I had sped this up. Maybe it reset me. Footage, and we'll talk over this video, which I'm about to cut to. So, footage-wise, have you played with the Mini or the Air?
I have not. Well, I think a buddy like mine in town here has an Air that I've seen and flown it, and it was cool, but it's, there's so much market confusion now, I think, especially with the Mini. With the Mini and the Air, because they're both really, really small and really, really portable. The Air's gonna cost quite a bit more, over twice as much.
So
I don't even know why that exists, essentially anymore. It flies for a shorter amount of time. It does provide better video. So if while the Mini will do 2.7K, the Air will do 4K.
Right.
So you can get a little bit higher quality video footage from the Air over the Mini, but unless you're, I don't know, I get in such a weird mode with those small stuff because they're not really made for production worlds, right? They're
right.
This isn't like a professional users thing that they're going to go out and I'm going to charge money and capture video and sell it to studios and stuff. That's just not what you do with these things.
But let's dial back your expectation and say that you're a vlogger or you're RCGroups at Joe Nall.
Yeah.
And you're looking for secondary images that are different and in the Air. And before we get too far away from it, one of the main differences between the Air and the Mini, and I was asking Jason about the Mini when it came out, the Mini only has ground obstacle avoidance. So if you're about to smack the ground or if you're coming in for a landing, it will sense that, but it has no other avoidance systems on it, where the Air has forward and rearward avoidance.
Yeah.
Also, the word on the street is that the Air handles better. It'll take a little more wind than the Mini will.
Probably. It's a little bit bigger props, more weight, a lot more weight. I think one of the cool things about the Mini, at least for right now, is that it's 249 grams all up with the battery, so you don't have to be a registered FAA kind of person, and you don't have to worry about the regulations. Currently, that could change. Who knows what's going to happen? But they kind of really decided to try to hit that weight limit and stay below it on this drone, which is cool.
All right, my video concept over here is not working. I got some other video I want to look at. It's a AB between a Mavic and an Inspire at the same time of day in the same place.
Cool.
And they're comparing the video to that.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking two different worlds here. When you go from a Mavic to an Inspire, that is going from your hobbyist, recreational, like vlogger kind of thing to more the professional. Once you get to the Inspire 2, that's professional level. Like it's low end professional level for drones, but it still is. It's a lot better for professional filming than a Mavic. Much higher quality images.
So before we get out of the Mini in the air, let's just the benefits are, let's say the Mini is that it's under the weight limit, and unless you're flying professionally and taking money for your photos, which theoretically, I don't know, that depends on. We'll just go there. If you're taking money to shoot, then you need a 107. But if you're not, then you can fly the Mini or the Air without a 107,
right,
and get out of there.
Yeah, and if you're hiking or some stuff where weight's a problem, you know, that thing is tiny. It'll fit in anything, and you can just hike with it. You know, go on trips with it, and it not get in the way. Some of the bigger drones, like my Mavic, even as small as the Mavic original Mavic Pro is, and amazing as it was when it came out, still fairly big drone, and you know, takes up a fair amount of space in your suitcase or something. Where the Mini is just absolutely completely tiny.
So the Mini would be like the hiking, really out in the wilderness vlogger type of thing. And then we move up to the Mavic. The reason that I still feel like I want a Mavic is that, well, with the Mini and the Air, you have to use your phone or some sort of handheld device like an iPad to see the footage. They're not going to talk to any goggle. There's nothing you can put on your head. And if I'm going to be in the air like that, especially if I'm shooting cinematically, now you know better than me. I just envisioned, I've had that $500 DJI goggle on my head HD, and it's just so awesome. I mean, that was 2 years ago when I maybe longer, and I still want it.
Yeah.
So the Mavic buys you.
Depends on the content that you want to get and create. If you're only going to fly high above obstacles and only straightforward, you know, the goggles are great. But if you're going to do anything else, you want to be able to see it line of sight. You want to be able to see the drone and know that
maybe
you're
it's
not
the smaller sensor in the DJI
sideways into a tree or a limb or flying backwards. You can't see anything other than the view forward. So there's times when you could use the goggles, but I don't think there's never been. You know, I kind of tend to lean towards the professional side. It's just who I am. But
okay,
I've never done a professional shoot where I would use goggles.
So you like always use a screen, and do you use an iPad, or do you rent
use an iPad or the HD? Crystal Sky or your phone? Even you can get away with just your phone, depending on what it is. But I always want to maintain that visual line of sight of the drone. I mean, A, it's legal to do that, and then B, it's a safer way to do it, to have both available to you.
So you own the Mavic and you operate the Inspire 2 and the Inspire 1. And for just an average person, let's say you and me going to these shows that we go to, would you rather haul around an Inspire 2 or a Mavic? What would get you the shot?
To do what kind of a shot?
Like RCGroups going to Joe Knoll.
Oh, going to Joe Knoll, I would take a Mavic all day long.
And so when do you need, like, when would a guy need an Inspire 2 if they were shooting a commercial or a music video?
Yeah, if you've got, you know, CBS is calling you up, they've got a TV show, you know, that they want to do. The Inspire 2 is essentially the lowest end drone for that kind of a thing. Like you would never talk to CBS and be like, yeah, we're going to shoot your TV show with a Mavic.
Right.
It's just not how it works. Yeah. Nobody does that. Now you might see that in the case of something where it's a high risk flight, like they want you to fly through an explosion, you know, or something crazy, you know, something where it's going to high likelihood of the drone getting destroyed,
right,
on purpose, you know, to kind of get a shot. And that's when you would use something cheaper like a Mavic. But anything else, you're going Inspire 2. And for me, that's really the lowest end. It seems like such a high end expensive drone, but it really, there's even levels above it that are a whole lot more expensive and better for high end production.
And what are the $20,000 drones buy you? Better flight time, more stability, things like that.
Well, you get the ability to lift better, bigger cameras, like the FreeFly Alta series. You can fly the Aries and the Reds and some of these really movie cinema cameras, you know, that are completely out of the realm of the hobbyist.
So let me ask you this: if you step away from DJI, like your Kopis and some other platforms, is there anything out there that, let's go to the Mavic, let's go right in the middle of the range of affordability and stability and size? Yeah. So what's out there that is a side option?
So right now there are two, in my opinion, two, maybe three pretty fantastic competitors to DJI. And I think a lot of people get, DJI owns the market. They have the largest share of the drone industry for the consumer world and a lot of the production world with the Inspires. But I think a lot of people dislike DJI for various reasons. We won't necessarily get into all that. So having competitors is both good for those people and good for the industry and innovation. Yeah. So you just pulled it up. So the Autel Evo 2 that was recently announced at CES. These things on paper look fantastic, freaking amazing. I mean, they're kind of Mavic sized and will blow it out of the water spec wise on its ability to shoot and what it can do. I mean, you're talking shooting in 8K, which is kind of crazy. Who needs a shoot in that right now? But it's there, and maybe that'll be a real thing in the future. And then their ability to have an 8K camera along with a thermal on it, kind of like the Mavic, dual Enterprise Edition. But these guys are going hard after DJI, and it looks very similar to a Mavic too, which is kind of funny. But to have a foldable, transportable drone like that, shoots in HDR. There's so many unbelievable specs on this, and until you get one in your hands and do a real thorough review on it and compare side by side, it's hard to say. But this is, for me, the first real serious competitor to the Mavic.
So my next question is, how much does this thing cost?
We don't know yet. They just announced these products, and they said pricing and availability will be coming soon, is all we know. So this was CES was going on just this last week. It may still be. I'm not sure. I haven't been following it too closely, but
whoa, this guy.
Yeah, that guy's nuts.
He's got a safety line. Okay. So that is awesome, and of course, I guarantee the pricing will be very similar to DJI.
Yep. And then the other big company is the Skydio 2, and that's a drone that some of the sample videos I've seen of its object tracking blows away anything the Mavic has thought about doing so far. Now, DJI can surprise us and come out with something even better. They probably will. But right now, the Skydio 2 has the best object tracking ability of any drone that I've seen available so far.
Skydio. This is good. We're showing how to use this guy.
There you go.
Let's see what we get here. Skydio 2 drone.
Yeah. So one of the videos I was watching, I don't know if we could find it, but it was a guy that he had a Mavic 2 up and a Skydio 2 up, and he was like at the edge of a forest essentially, and he's had them both tracking him, and he was like, let's just see what happens. And he starts running and walking through the woods, and then they're both following. DJI gets stuck. It decides that it can't go anywhere, and it just stops and then stops tracking, where the Skydio kind of stops, goes down and avoids these tree limbs and stuff, and then it kind of goes to the right and avoids, and it just keeps going in deeper and deeper and deeper into the woods, avoiding all these limbs and not crashing. And I'm like, there's no way this is done now. It's gonna get stuck right here. It can't go past these limbs, and it does. And it just blows your mind how good it is. So
do you have a story on this thing?
Exciting times. It's been a while back. It probably lives there.
Holybro. I will say that I know the Air also senses branches, and I'm not the Air. Yeah, the Air, the Mini does not, but the Air does. Probably not as good as this new piece.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not going to find it. I should have pulled it up.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's been out a while, or it was announced a while ago, and so we had that article done a while back.
And let me also say that that is a U.S. based company, right, Skydio?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I doubt it's made in the US, but designed at least maybe.
I'm pretty sure I'd researched the CEO of that company, and it's US based. I just saw a piece. I don't want to go here very far in, but Canada is about to pass a law making all FPV flight almost totally illegal.
Holy cow. Wow.
I watched it right before the podcast. I was out doing a little researching, and
I hear things like that, and I doubt it'll actually happen.
Right.
It's too big of an industry now and too important for people to allow that. So we'll see. Who knows?
I'm going here. I switched all the scene buttons around so I could get Jason's head right, my head right, and then let's see if this is the outro.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Okay, Scotty O to $9.99. What a price! That's completely livable. But it says reserve now, so these are not available yet. Maybe they're sold out.
Yep.
So 3 ways to fly: beacon, iOS, Android, and controller. And why do I think this is US based? Let's go to an about. I don't want to get too much dead air here.
When will my Skydio 2 ship?
Press blog, careers, legal support. All right, I'll jump out of here.
Vahida Try, I just butchered your name. I'm sorry. He's new here and says, what is this stream about? This is about the RC industry. We work for RCGroups.com, the world's largest and most active RC website. We do news stories. We do reviews on products. People go and talk about all of the industry of the RC hobby. And we show cool things like the Holybro Kopis Center Whoop and play with toys. So
we talk about the latest and the greatest. So if you want to see the latest and greatest at any time, go to RC Groups, hit all RC, and see the latest story. Jason, I've got an interesting story up here. I thought about you when I made it. First of all, this is from Jason Merkel, one of the honchos at Horizon, who is always coming out with good stuff. This is the new P51 Mustang 1.5. I believe today they announced. Usually they announce. Wait, it is Thursday. What the heck? Weeks are flipping by. So this thing just came out. We can take a look at it. There's an overview, and then in his second post, he posts some videos of the Mustang. Nice. So there's a size reference. And man, what a bunch of airplanes this company just keeps coming out with.
Yeah, it's really their machine. They got it down to a science.
Let's at least see the takeoff.
Really good at it. They've working with the manufacturers. They know what they want.
And a lot of good talent and a lot of good people. So these are people Definitely. That I'm assuming you don't know personally people at Horizon Hobby, but we do, and they're all just like us, except they happen to work in a big building that can make all these airplanes.
That's right.
Where's Matt Gunn when you need him? Wow.
Alexa, play P51 sounds.
You don't have an Alexa? Oh, wait, do you? Oh, you do.
P51 Mustang, Decollage by the Warbirds on Amazon Music.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's a long rollout.
Is it going to do it? Oh, there it is. There it is.
There you go. If it were me, I'd be like, why are you flying away from the camera? So that thing's new. The thing I was talking about, Jason, is this. Let me just say, hey, if you've got a great post that you've made that you think should be a feature article, you feel 100% free to PM me and say, Jim, I think my post, unless it's some sort of weird political rant, which does happen. But stuff like this is awesome. So this is an airplane. I'll read the first part. I received a text from a pilot who bought my Eagle from me 17 years ago. He only flew it a handful of times and had no use for it, and he offered me to take it back. So wow. This guy gets this sailplane back, and what we get to feature here, I didn't look at this. I posted it. This must be him with the airplane 17 years ago. But what he's showing us is the parts of the plane that were not so great that he's cleaning up.
Yeah.
And he's showing the process of going back in and how he's patching it here with fiberglass cloth and sanding and getting it perfect. And then I want to go to the last few photos here of the finished product. And so that's the plane after he's done.
Turned out great, man.
This is a big bird.
That is a cool project.
So I found that this morning, and I thought this would be a great feature article. And I'm always looking for them. If you got something like this, like a build thread, that would be awesome, because that is what I think people care about. Also, while we're here, because Steve at Soaring Lab is pretty much, he's not new to the game, but he's new to RCGroups. And this is Soaring Labs. Jason did this story, F3J, F5J. And so I talked to him on Saturday, I guess, and we started coming up with an idea of how to get some information out to all the subplane pilots. So now Jason looks like you're going to possibly do a review with Soaring Lab.
Sounds like it might work out. Yeah, we're gonna work out some details. But I'm gonna likely, if I get one, it'll be an F5J version, so it'll have a motor in the front and be able to compete with it and check it out, and should be awesome. I've heard really good things from the guys that have flown the few that are out there right now, and they're saying really good things about it. So it's exciting. You know, we're gonna see. I think the quality looks really good. I think they know what they're doing and how to build airplanes. And
so this obviously is the owner of the company, and that means that you can get in contact with him if you want. And this looks like the photo shoot. What does this say? Getting ready to ship our new red. So I actually created a banner on this red one day, and he didn't have them in stock yet. And so I said, man, it was the prettiest banner that I made. And I'm waiting, because it's red, to put it back up. So, Jason, I made a new discovery. Any truck that's red, whether it's a 2020 or a 1965, if it's red and it drives by, I will do a double take.
Yeah. So, speaking of red trucks, do you have your model?
Yeah, I do.
I want to see this thing. I want to see this. I couldn't believe how much of an exact replica you got it to be.
So if you're a fan of the podcast, you know that is it going to blow it out? I purchased. It's been a year. Be a year and 4 days. A year and 5 days. I bought my truck. It doesn't seem that long. The light's making this look a little oranger than it is.
It is. Really yeah.
But my father-in-law, who is a model builder and also had a vast quantity of stick 1950s and 60s kits all in the garage. I believe he sold them all now. But anyway, for Christmas, they handed me the box for this as my present, and they were like, don't shake it, because I'm a king daddy of shaking. And so this was just sitting inside. So this is, Jason, this is actually the exact year. And evidently he called Angela up and got her to take photos when I wasn't looking at things.
That's awesome.
The paint is, my truck is torch red, which is a Corvette color, which is so awesome because I can go on Amazon and buy torch red touch-up paint.
Yeah.
Which that's not usually how it works with custom trucks like that. And one of the things is the grill on my truck. I don't know if you can see it. It's Chevrolet in black. Mine was hand painted black. And so he hand painted this grill. I'll save the best for last. And then if you look under the hood, my 66 has a LS motor out of a Tahoe, and he's put an LS motor in there with the air cleaner.
Can you make your image full screen?
Oh.
You can see more details better.
If it was you, I would already have done that. Okay. So here's the LS motor with the air cleaner. Now the battery's on the wrong side, but I'm sure Charlie wasn't aware of that. The mirrors are exactly the same. He also wanted me to point out when he gave it to me that the dash and the seat are exactly the same. So I'll put the hood back on. The wheels are the wheels that I'm running on my truck. I'll have to cut to hold on. Hold on 1 second, if I can. I have a video of this. Yes. 1 second. I have an even better thing. I'll just have to find it, so you're going to have to bear with me. What the hell, YouTube?
You should, man, it'd be funny to do one of those where you have the camera set up so the truck looks like it's the full-size real truck. And then it's blocking your real one, and then you pull away and you see that it's just a model, and then your real one's behind it.
Okay, I'm going to cut. Okay, so.
There you go.
There's a better red. So there's that little model sitting on the bed of my truck. This is a much better representation. So the first thing I'm going to look at is I have 4-wheel disc brakes and these pretty vintage looking wheels. So we got that right. I thought he got the ride height slightly higher than what I'm running, but after looking at that model and looking back at my truck, it's pretty much right. So here's the interior of my 66. And I guess now I'm going to look at the grill. Yeah, so there's that grill I was talking about. And there's the grill on the 66. Little festivity there with the wreath.
Merry Christmas.
I guess the motor's next. So you're going to actually get to see how clean the motor is or is not on the truck after a year of daily driving. So there's the LS on his. The LS, it's actually a 5.3 Vortec out of a Tahoe. And so there's my LS motor, or Vortec if you want to be a purist about it. And what else? So the cover on the back of my truck was custom. They make them for these trucks, but I had them custom painted to match my truck, which was Jason helped me. He came over and we put that on in about a half a day. And I was scared to death it wouldn't match.
Because, with a drill into the baby.
Yeah, I had to drill into the rear, or the
it's
bed.
Got the wood paneling bed.
And so what I found out, Jason, is if your truck was like 2 years old and then they fresh painted that back end, it wouldn't match.
Oh, yeah, because it'd fade a little bit.
So now we're looking at the bed. I have my bed covered because it's so nice. It's like a cushion on a couch. So there's my wood bed and aluminum rails, just like in the model here.
Dude, how excited were you to get that model truck?
Very. And then, I don't know if I'm going to show it. The coolest part is, where am I going next? Oh, what I'm saying here is Jason's been under my truck a little bit, but I've been under my truck for hours, like probably 3 days straight. Well, if you put all the hours together. But the undercarriage of this truck is exactly, even the front end steering, everything is exactly like my truck. Very weird. But my favorite thing is that he had Angela take a picture of my license plate. Let's see if I'm going to get around to it, or if I've already done it. And he has the Billy Hell license plate on the back.
Yeah. Oh, man. Ha!
Maybe I did that first. Let me go back.
That's got to be the coolest Christmas gift you could get besides the real truck.
Well, yeah, you can't drive that one around, but otherwise it's perfect. All right, I'll turn it off.
So now you can look at your truck even when you're inside in the office working.
I have it right here. Rung, rung, rung. I
Killer,
tell you
man.
what I'm pretty guilty of is when I drive the red truck, I can't not make it get loud. I have to. If I leave a light, I don't go fast, but
a little heavy-footed.
I'm a little wah, and it does this power shift thing that I'm not. None of my cars have had it, where when it shifts into second, it kind of goes wow. Do you know what that is?
I truck driving, man.
Let me go to the live chat to see if anyone knows. It's a 4L60E automatic transmission, and when I haul like full maximum RPM, shift into second, the thing goes wow. And so I'm always striving for the wow sound. Which
no, we don't get that feature in the amazingly powerful Toyota RAV4.
One day it'll give me a ticket. And I've already worked out what I'm going to say to the police. I'm going to say it's louder than it is fast. I'm not actually going fast.
Yeah.
I'm just being loud. Well, we're clicking up right on an hour, which is kind of exactly what we always plan to do. Possibly next time we'll get Steve on here and we can talk sailplanes, and Jason can learn a little bit because he's really interested in maybe getting involved in some of that stuff.
What?
Yeah, I'm joking. And that is all I have. We'll do it later. I am still tweaking an EC 1500 review. Everything's done. I've written it up. I've done the video, flying thoughts. Jason, the only thing I'm really working on now are the special features. So you might ask, what are the special features?
Okay. What are the special features?
The special features are the removable nose cone for a GoPro, removable top hatch for FPV camera, the flap aileron switch up combination, LED lights, skis. So I'm doing a little section on all the really cool.
There's a lot to it.
Tidbits, yeah. So I'm gonna do a photo and then a description for each, and then that thing will be out of my hair.
Very cool.
All right, y'all. Well, Thursday is the new Friday, so be sure to act like it's Friday night. Go out to dinner.
Cheers.
Yes, take your wife out somewhere. Cheers to you, Jason. And that is all. Jason, anything you need to say before we get out of here?
No, man. I think we're good. We will catch you guys next week.
Hey,
Happy
Nick.
New Year, Merry Christmas, all those things we didn't get to say.
Nick says you're not done with that yet. Well, between the weather and I really wanted to get married to this one. I wanted to feel good and not just rush it out. I think I've tried to go faster and faster on reviews, but now I'm going to try to go slower and slower to have a more intimate view of the review. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? I think you're right, Jason.
I think you're all right.
All right.
All right.
Well, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully I hit the right button. This is Jim T. Graham and Jason Coe with RCGroups.com. Be sure to go to check us out, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bing. All right.
Oh, wait, it didn't stop.
Hey, everybody. We're off the air.
That's weird.
The RC Groups podcast.
It was on because they all
still live. It's still live. Hey, everybody. Enjoy the black screen.
It can't be on.
Showing still live on the
it shows still live. Yeah.
Nick's Facebook messaging me and everybody's laughing. This is awesome. Jim can't turn it off.
Well, okay, now.
What did you forget to tell me, Nick?
3. Yeah, well, this is the B-roll
bonus. Wait for it. Big reveal. I see 3 little dots waving. Maybe it's not related to the podcast.
Oh, what? We can't.
Oh, he got 8 hours of PPG training for Christmas. Yeah, buddy.
What's PPG?
That's exciting.
That's a paint, right? PPG.
Powered paragliding. Dude, I'm excited for you, man.
Be careful up there, Nick.
That is awesome.
Jason, if there was one thing other than the Kopis, because, I don't want the Kopis quad itself, although I might. I do want that.
Is this the RC Groups podcast after
hours? Yeah. I don't have anything in here. I got some moonshine.
Turn off the lights.
I could dim them. What's the one thing you want right now that you don't have?
The one thing I want, I don't know. I'm going to say it, but I'm kind of nervous about it. And I don't know if I can get one or not. I want an how do you say it? EUC. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. I'll go ahead and spell it for you. It's an electric unicycle.
Oh.
So a lot of the drone guys in town ride these things. If you don't know what they are, they're the single wheel, but it's not the skateboard style. It is two fold down platforms on the side of a wheel, and you stand on it, and you can go forward, but you steer. But so I have a couple of Segway Mini Pros. Those are like the hoverboards, right? And they're cool, and they're super stable and easy to ride, but they only go like 10 miles an hour. And, so it's fast, but it's not fast enough. So these guys are ripping around Nashville on these EUCs, and they go like 20 to 30 miles an hour and for like 40 miles plus, and they're better over terrain. So it's like the perfect like getaway vehicle, and like grab your FPV backpack and go park somewhere and then just go ripping through and finding new places to fly. It just gets you there faster, and it just looks more fun, like a motorcycle, and you can I don't know.
Did they wear helmets?
Some people wear helmets, but I would probably wear a helmet for a little bit, because one guy let me try it and I wasn't able to ride it yet. And they were like, yeah, it takes about an hour or 2 to get the hang of it before you can start comfortably, sort of riding it around, and then longer than that to get really comfortable with it to where you're safe. And I'm like, holy crap. I was like, you know what? It's worth it. It's just like riding a bike. It takes you a little bit of time and practice, and you got to get the hang of it and balance yourself. So I don't know. I'm super like researching and like looking and seeing what I want. And I don't know if I can buy one right now, but it's what I want. And that's what the question was that you asked.
I would think that you could get some great video shots off of that. Get on there and cruise around.
Oh, you could, especially people are doing them with the 360 cameras, like the Insta360 or the GoPro. And, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it.
So here's
one day.
One thing I either want an Air, a DJI Air, or a Mavic.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just all of a sudden become important to me to learn about it, which is why I ask all these questions.
Would you like to borrow my Mavic Pro?
No, but we could discuss maybe one day if you want to let go of it. We could.
Okay.
I would like to have it in the arsenal, but then I've already decided if I did that, I'd probably have to go get my 107.
Well, it's cool. Insta360 just came out with a camera system. They have an aerial edition of it, and it attaches to the Mavic. It'll do the Mavic Pro or the Mavic 2s. If you don't want to do it on a 2, though, it loses your GPS signal. But if you put it on a Mavic Pro like I got, it will do perfect spherical 360-degree video and make the drone invisible.
Yeah, you can see that right
So
here.
you can fly it around and have an invisible drone and reframe the shots and do all this really cool stuff with a Mavic. I'm like, that's pretty interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Of course, it's like $500 for the camera system. You're like halfway to another Mavic at that point.
But $5's not much.
They're over the price of a Mavic Mini.
So here it is sitting on the Mavic, and here is the footage. I have not watched this video. When you're starting to talk about $500 and $400, and you're talking about stuff like this, that's all super like realistic, because the next jump is $9,000 and $20,000, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, and for what it is, it's like, if you want something that's $500, you could save money over time and come up with that. Like, that's not like an insurmountable amount of money for something you want.
Yeah, you could do something to make that.
Yeah, money. Sell something, go work, weekends, raking leaves or something. Who knows? But you could come up with $500, at some point.
So that's kind of what I would like to put in the bag. But what I would like to show in the after hours thing is, I've been running the same cameras for man. My first camera I had. Do you remember how many photos were on that camera?
It was many.
Stupid. It was so bad that I was like, maybe I could sell the body. I had worn out every surface of the camera. It was like an old pistol.
I believe it.
And so I'm running this D3200, which is okay. I have to work to get those shots when we're out doing reviews and the airplanes flying by. I have to work. And I'm not saying this is for that, but I wanted a camera that would shoot like when Jason and I are doing interviews, or we're doing plane shots, or just review pieces that are kind of close in. I wanted a newer camera with a nice lens, with a lot of focus and internal stability features. That's built into the camera, but the lens also has IS in it. And I wanted a nice mic, and I wanted a screen that popped out. And let's turn it on. And would allow me to see what's going on from the front of the camera, So this could sit on a nice tripod, and I could see what we were doing and monitor everything. And so I had money sitting around from some leather sales and airplane sales and stuff like that. And I emptied the bank, man, for real.
Yeah.
First, I researched the crap out of what camera was the best camera, and this is a Canon M50. Nice. And so while it's not the top of the line Canon, this is like the lightest, most function camera that you would use for shooting videos like that. But it also shoots photos, right?
Of course.
And then it's got this nice upgraded glass on the front that I found on eBay from some guy who used it once and sold it at 50% of the price.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Good
he had a body, 2 lenses, and something else. And I thought, all I want is this lens. And then after I bought it, I thought, let me see what else he's got. Within the time that I hit the buy button, then about 4 hours later, gone. Everything was no longer available.
Smash it up. Gotta be on it.
So this dude should be an in-the-field companion. And so today I'm going to get my little backpack going where everything lives in there. So I'm going to keep the old D3200. This guy, SD card pouch in the front, Jason. We know how important that is for me, right? New SD cards that don't look like yours.
Yep. That'll be good.
We can never tell whose card is whose. Battery chargers, batteries. It's my 2020 updated game.
Sweet, dude.
So this has kind of been my thing. And so my next thing would be one of those little ones. All right,
yeah,
Jason,
buddy.
I bet you're ready to get on with your day, and you don't want to stay on here 24 hours.
Well, that would be an interesting, channel. But
Well,
I don't know if people want to see that.
you might be able to leave if I can get it to turn off.
Let's see if Jim can turn off the live video feed. Find out in 20 minutes.
Does it say it's
Wow.
on?
It's still going.
It says stop. I hit the stop button like I always do.
I think you're doing, I don't know. This could be like a gag of whatever your software is. Like,
I
we're
think
just
it's
gonna keep
over.
these guys online.
I think it's over. Is
No,
it
it's
over,
still-
Brian?
it's
Is
still
it
live.
over?
It's still live.
Why would it still be on when it doesn't? It's offered me the ability to record.
Oh my gosh. We need some Benny Hill music.